Okay, class, at this point, you should have out your homework and a pen. We are going to be grading for participation, which means we're just going to do 4 points. If you completed them all, it's a 4 out of 4. Every problem you did not do, you're taking off half a point. We should only be grading in pen, but I am also going to be checking that you submitted the Canvas portion. So if you're sort of putting down answers now, but you didn't do the Canvas portion, I'm going to kind of wonder if you really actually did it ahead of time. So let's be honest in grading this correctly. I'm going to go through and work them out at the same time. So that way, if you did have any questions, you can sort of get that fixed and cleaned up and taken care of. Okay, so number 1, if we're solving for y, we need to get rid of that x. So we are going to subtract 3x on each side. If we're writing with the x first, we'll say y equals negative 3x plus 6. There is nothing else there for us to move, so that is our final answer. Number 2, if we want to solve for y, we have this x over here, so I'm going to move this 9x first. Okay, so we'll have a negative 9x plus 12. We will then undo multiplication with division, and we will get y equals negative 3x plus 4. Number 3, we are going to subtract this 2x. So that leaves us with a negative 1/2 y equals a negative 2x plus 6. We are then going to divide by negative 1/2 in each place. And so we will get an answer of y equals positive 4x minus 12. Number 4, I'm going to move a positive 5x by subtracting 5x. So we'll get negative 3y equals a negative 5x plus 9. We will then undo multiplying with division. So we'll divide all of these by negative 3. 2 negatives make a positive, so we'll get a 5/3 x minus 3. I guess if you wrote that in a different form, all of you decimal lovers who I know are currently thinking this question in your head, let's see. You could have 1 2/3. We shouldn't even have 1.6 repeating, right? We don't want to approximate. Okay, so this one's a little bit unique. While it's solving for y, this is fitting more of that literal equation and less of that solving for y. Okay, so y is over here, which means we need to be undoing any addition and subtraction first. And then we will undo multiplication with division. And 3x plus 4 equals y, or you could have rewrote that as y equals 3x plus 4. Number 6, we subtract this 3x from both sides. So that will leave us with negative y equals negative 3x minus 14. We will then divide by negative 1, and we will get y equals 3x plus 14. Number 7, we need to move this x. So even though it is a fraction, fractions are our friends. We are going to move that entire x minus 4 with the opposite sign. So we'll have y over 3 equals a negative x over 4 plus 5. We will then undo division with multiplication. And we will get negative 3/4 x plus 15. Number 8, okay, we do need to move this x, but we also need to move this 7. We've got way too much sitting over here with the y. Okay, so we'll move that x next. You could have moved those in reverse order. It doesn't matter. All right, addition and subtraction come together. So the order we moved them in didn't matter. 2 negatives will become a positive. And again, let's see. So here we could have 1 1/3. Here we could have 2 1/3. Those are both repeating decimals, so we shouldn't have that. I guess over here on number 7, you could have negative 0.75. You're all going to be really sad come a couple weeks when no more decimals will be allowed. Number 9, we just need to divide. That's all we need to get it by itself. So we'll get y equals 5/2x plus 4. So you could have this as 2.5 or 2.5. Number 8. Subtract this 8x. So that will give us 10y equals negative 8x plus 20. We will then divide by 10. Make sure we reduce here. So negative 4/5 x, I guess negative 0.8 plus 2. Number 11, subtract that x over. So negative y is negative x plus 9. And we're going to divide by that negative 1. So y equals a positive x minus 9. You could have a 1 in front of that x as well. That would be totally fine. Number 12, we just need to divide by the negative 3. So we'll have y equals, you could either write this as x over negative 3, or you could write this as a negative 1/3 x. Either of those options would be fine. So if you just left it here, that would be okay. Okay, then we get into more of our literal equation problems. So if we want to solve this for b, we need to move this whole 2a over. So that'll give us 2b equals c minus 2a. Now, you could just divide this entire chunk by 2 because it doesn't really help us a whole lot. So that option would be correct. Or if we put that 2 with each of them, then that becomes a 1a or just an a. And that option would be fine as well. Number 14, if we're solving for r, we just need to move this ax. So that all moves in one chunk. So we'll just get r equals 7 minus ax. If you wrote that as a negative ax plus 7, that would be fine as well. But again, we're not kind of in a weird form anyways there with weird letters. Number 15, we want to solve for x. So we have to undo addition and subtraction first. So x over 5 equals a plus g. Then we will undo division with multiplication. And remember that multiplication applies to everything. So if you left it with the parentheses, that would be fine. Or if you distributed it through, that would be fine as well. Okay, so 4 points. Participation for completing them all, which meant all your work was shown. Half a point for every problem you did not do. Then make sure your name is on this. Make sure your grade is on it and pass that forward. The sub's going to come around and pick those up. When this video is over, you guys are actually going to be working on, I sort of flip-flop days so that you didn't have to learn too much without me there. I know we did a full new day yesterday. You are going to be working on your review packet for your test. Okay, so it's not technically due tomorrow, but you do need to bring it to class tomorrow. You definitely need to be working on it. It's going to be due at the start of class on Thursday, right before we test. We are not going to have time in class to work on it tomorrow. So you really need to be finishing all of it except the last couple problems, which are over absolute value. Okay, so looking at the review packet, I'm just going to show you a quick glimpse here. Okay, this is what the review packet looks like. When you get to the last page, number 31 through 33, you do not need to be worried about. Okay, everything else you know how to do and you can complete. Okay, a couple pointers. On the ones that are compound inequalities, you'll put the answer up here. So if like you get x is greater than 4 and x is less than 7, and then this is where you'll graph your answer. Okay, on the multiple choice over here, number 11 and 12, not only do you need to solve for y, but the answer can be written in any equivalent format. So you're gonna have to find what's equivalent to what you get to make sure you're getting the right answer there. So work on your review packets. I will be back tomorrow. Have a great rest of the day.